which isn't necessarily surprising because for some reason, football playoffs are always like the home of breaking trailers. And this
Yeah.
one felt like an apology for the first trailer, so to speak. And that is the first trailer for the Paramount Plus series, Halo. It has been in development since, oh, I don't know, 1998 maybe. It just feels like it's been stuck in development hell. Now it's actually coming. Did they say March? End of March, I
Hmm.
believe, is when this series is
Beginning
debuting.
to end, yeah.
March 28th. And I'll be honest, this trailer is pretty good for the most part. But I'm also coming at it as a non-Halo fan. I think I have clocked in maybe total in my entire life 3 to 4 hours playing Halo across like different friends and roommates in college gaming system. I was just didn't have an Xbox, didn't grow up playing Halo. I didn't have Halo parties or friends growing up. So I don't know the Halo
Jeez.
lore. I recognized the sword that like popped through the wall, but there was a moment in the trailer that I knew, oh, the internet, I'm sure is going to handle this completely rationally, was the first appearance of Cortana. And I kind of understand the criticisms of, no, we've seen Cortana. What's that? Like the actress looks the part, but even in my limited Halo knowledge,
Yeah.
isn't Cortana a little more blue? Like
Yeah. Yeah.
it looks a little weird. Didn't quite
Um,
look right. Also, this trailer was better, and I'm sure it'll have the production value that it needs. But Josh, at least for me, did it just look like it was the most expensive fan film ever created?
yeah, there's certain moments where I was like, okay, this just feels like a fan film. But maybe that's because there's a part of me that is feels that I feel that way because we never thought we would ever get like a show. What's really really interesting to me um, is someone hmm, who's beat every game except for the new one. I haven't been able to play the new one yet. Um, and read a good chunk of the books. I'm kind of excited for this because it's been a while since I've read the books, but dude, they're doing something completely different from the game. I mean, not completely different, but it's different enough. And we'll probably end up touching on this later in our discussion, but it it it's coming from a game series that has easy 5 games, depending on what games you count. Um, Attached to it. There's years worth of lore, and equally so, so many books that dedicated to the lore of this franchise. And so it'd be easy just to kind of settle in one of those realms or try to blend them both, but they're good. They're taking this, and there's some stuff that stood out to me in the trailer that is like they're doing some different takes on some things. For example, uh, not letting the Spartans up, at least up at the very front. I'm sure they'll have autonomy later on, but basically that they can be controlled by the government when they're first created. That's a super interesting development. Having like his Master Chief has always been that guy that's he's the badass soldier, man. He get you stick him in a direction, he'll get things done. Like, and so to give him a reason to fight outside of, well, because I'm told to. Well, yeah, that's super interesting to me. The Cortana thing is, when I saw it, I was like, okay, yeah, I get it. The
I
voice
don't,
is
because isn't she a
there.
hologram? So shouldn't she be more blue?
I I don't know. I don't care. I think of the things that matter to this story, her being blue is the thing that matters the least. You know what I mean? Like, as long as she's a good character, that's all that matters. And this is, I think, one of the reasons why it's always difficult, and why some studios, man, this whole episode is just going to turn into a discussion about IPs. Why some studios kind of like don't want to make shows based on games is because the gaming community can be pretty stupid about
Oh,
what
I'm
things they get
sure.
hung
I
up
don't know what
on.
that's like at all, being one of the few people excited for the Uncharted movie and everyone going, why didn't you get Nathan Fillion? Nathan Fillion's perfect for the Uncharted movie. It's
No, he's not.
perfectly fine to start a franchise with a 50-year-old in an action movie. Tom Cruise does it all the time. I'm sure I
William
don't know
Dafoe
what
does it.
that's like to have excitement for an Uncharted and everyone telling you, this movie's going to be terrible. Admittedly, one or two of the posters have been bad, but I get frustrated with video game fandoms too, as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, I speaking of Uncharted, I was kind of wondering it and seeing your approach with this because again, I don't know the source material. I was wondering if they would take the Uncharted movie route of clearly Uncharted is creating its own narrative inspired by the games and not beholden to the games and their
Yeah.
lore. So, from what you're seeing, is that what Halo is doing,
That
or do you think they're
is,
following the games?
yeah, it looks like, and again, this is just a trailer, so we have no real idea. I am hoping there's a lot of stuff they're hiding because I really don't want this to just be it. I like the idea of giving um, Master Chief some other Spartans to play off of, because especially if they make him, I don't know, not talk a lot like in the games, be interesting to have some other characters around. It does look, and maybe I'm alone in this, who knows, but it does look like they're doing something that is more like inspired by the games than it is a complete, shot for shot of the games, which is, as much as a game fan says they want that, that's not what they want. That's not at all what they want. Oh boy.
Yeah, it's like translating a book to a movie of, well, I want everything. I'm going, you can't. It's changing a medium. Like Josh knows, having going through the Harry Potter right now, you can't put everything from the books
Yeah.
into the movie. Like, as much as I would love a 100% accurate Uncharted representation from game to movie, more than a third of the movie would be looking at a man's butt as he climbs up a mountain.
Yeah.
That's being realistic. Like, you can't also have a game where you're just looking through people's eyes the whole time. Hardcore Henry tried that. Hardcore Henry is a first-person shooter movie, essentially, and that did not
Yeah.
work. You can have some first-person stuff. It's one of the only good things about the Dwayne Johnson Doom movies when they try it for a little bit, but different mediums require different adaptations, and that gets frustrating to me.
Yeah.
People are like, it has to be a certain way. I'm going, there is wiggle room here, guys.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And I think you and I can check ourselves even to the point where you and I have always championed, like, well, if you want to do Harry Potter, quote unquote, do Harry Potter right, give it a TV show. And I don't think that upon reading some of the books and upon kind of looking at like the more discussion about medium changes and stuff like that, I don't know if that's necessarily true either, because no matter what you do, things will be different. And I think that one of the things going into this Halo show is, I think a lot of people will tune in for like one or two episodes, and then when it's not what they think a Halo show should be, they're just gonna bail. And that's not, A, that's not fair. B, it's, oh, you know what? I'm saying this and I'm realizing I might have done that to the Book of Boba Fett. But that's not fair. That's not fair. That's not fair.
It's not fair because I said it.
But it's also not fair because, like, it's not, the pacing is weird. It's not at all like what I think the Book of Boba Fett show should have been. It's more like the show is just stupid.